Hey, this is Terry, the museum. This is another one of my favorite cars. It's 1924 Gardner. A little story behind this car. They only made these cars from 1920 to 1931. There was a lady come in the museum about 3 years ago, somewhere in that neighborhood, and during the summer, one of my special exhibits was the barn finds. Well, I had the Gardner here in our barn find exhibit, and she come through the front door saying that, bet you ain't got a car in here associated with my grandfather. Well, don't know who your grandfather is, but tell me who he is. And she said, William Gardner, the Gardner car. And I got to thinking, I do have a Gardner. It was in her special exhibit out here on the floor. So I brought her out, and she couldn't believe it because she said the only other Gardner she had ever seen was at a Barrett Jackson auction back when she was young, and it sold in the auction. So I took the chains down, let her have her picture made in it, and she sent me a lot of history about this car. William Gardner was born in Western Tennessee. At a teenager, he moved to St. Louis and started building buggies, and was really successful with building the buggies. He built what they call the banner buggy. Then when was revolving over to automobiles, he started building the Chevrolet bodies in with his buggy factory, and eventually had the Chevrolet franchise sold up west of the Mississippi. And in 1917, he sold his franchise to General Motors. And he had three sons. They went into war, and when they come out, they wanted to build their own brand of car. So they're Gardner. And so in 1920, they started building the Gardner. Now this is a 1924 Gardner. What makes it unique was that it's got a four-cylinder Lycoming engine, which Mr. Gardner was really partial to. But they had the straight six, straight eights, and they was pushing them to put bigger engines in them. But to show the durability of this little four-cylinder Lycoming engine, he went to New York and got Cannonball Baker to do the first and last midwinter transcontinental run from New York to San Francisco. And so they said at the time that it was the largest snowfall in winter on record, and across the Midwest that he pushed mud up over the axles. So all the critics said even if he makes it to San Francisco, that the engine will be shot. But after he got to San Francisco in 4 days and 15 hours and some odd minutes, that he got out on Main Street and reached speeds of 78.9 miles per hour in it after doing a cross-country run in it. So this car here is pretty unique because there's only 2.5 of these cars left. This one and one more in a parts car. And we was invited to carry it to a car show a couple years ago up in St. Louis, where the gentleman was really excited to come in here and seen the car. He was really excited about it because of being a 1924, and that's the first and last year that they made a transcontinental run with a Gardner. And pretty unique, pretty rare car, and great history behind it. And like I said, if they built the automobiles today like they did back then, we'd never have to buy but one.